Hi, Grace. Good evening. Hi, Olayinka. How are you today? Good evening. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Agnes, good evening.
Evening.
How is Zambia today?
Zambia is okay. How's Nigeria?
Nigeria is, will I say hot or cold now? I mean, initially we were having it hot in Lagos. We didn't have, what's it called now? We didn't have the full Amatan effect before now. But when I stepped out this morning, we're already having the Amatan effect. So yeah, Lagos is chill.
Okay.
Grace, how are you? Okay, let's just believe Grace cannot hear me. We'll get started. We'll get started, and Toby would also be joining us soon. Um, okay, Jalil has left. Let's just wait for till 5:05 when other people would also join us on this call. Is that okay, please? Hi, Oluwatobi. Good afternoon. Oluwatobi, my namesake, and and my friend from school. Good evening. Okay. Hi. Good evening. All right. So it's almost 5:05. Hi, Sharon. Good evening. So let's get started. Let's get to introduce ourselves. Even though I know where some of us are from, because some faces are consistent, but I'm quite maybe not faces. I mean, some names are consistent, but I wouldn't take it for granted. So I know Adenika is joining from Lagos. I know Agnes is joining from Zambia. I know Jalil is joining from the UK. I can't remember for Grace, Abdullahi, or Sharon. Sharon, are you joining from South Africa? That's if I'm correct. But I would not make assumptions. So please you can leave a comment. You can leave a comment to tell me where you're joining from. So you can leave a comment to tell me where you're joining from. I'm joining from Lagos, Nigeria. Can you still hear me, guys? And we want to do this by 5:05 so that we can get into the meat of the conversation today. Today we're talking about Power BI. Um, we'll just have a basic introduction into the Power BI interface. What can be achieved in Power BI? From a poll we had taken a poll some months earlier. We realized some people are not entirely familiar with Power BI. I mean, and it's okay. Power BI is not a tool that you just wake up one morning and start installing on your system if you don't have any need for it. So it's totally understandable. So today we're just basically going to do introductions to we're just basically going to be doing introductions to Power BI. We have Adenike on the call, and Toby would also join us shortly, and we will we'll get it going. All right, thank you, Sharon. Sharon from South Africa. So I got it right. And Olayinka, thank you from Lagos. We're both from Lagos. I don't know if Grace is fully here with us. Akindiji, good evening and welcome. Welcome to class, or I wanted to say welcome to the show, but I remember this is not a show. So we're basically introducing ourselves earlier. And yeah, Toby's on the call. Toby, hello. It's good to see you. You're muted. You're muted. Okay, you can unmute yourself if you can hear me.
Yes, I think I'm fine now. Hi.
Yeah. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry. How about you?
I'm doing well. We already have a lot of people on the call, people who are, from all over the world. We have Sharon from South Africa. We have Agnes from Zambia. We have Jalil from the UK. I think he's dropped off. We have Olayinka from Lagos. We have me from Lagos too. And so yes, we were just trying to introduce
And you have
ourselves.
and you have me from Lagos too. So
Well, you're from Lagos for now, so we know. Right. So I think we already have a handful in the room, and we can we can get to it. But before we do that, give me a few seconds. Let me distribute this co-host responsibility, so that if anybody needs to join the call, and they can also help me quickly admit the persons or person, so we can have a smooth conversation this evening. Right. So I've added some other people as co-hosts. So please, guys, help me admit people to the room as they come in. All right. So Adenike, are we good? Should I fire on, or you can fire on? All right. I think I will fire on. All right, so I'm just going to go through our introduction. Today, again, just so I mentioned, we'll be talking about the basic features in Power BI, and we'll be able to touch few aspects around how you import data into Power BI. If you're a frequent Excel user, some Power BI is wouldn't be new or alien to you. So Toby, I'm going to mute you for a while so I could quickly finish this introduction, if that is okay. Right. So if you've been using Excel before now, Power BI would not be new to you, because the interface looks similar. I wouldn't say the same. The interface looks similar, and some of the functionalities in there are also very, very similar. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. Please let me know once you can see my screen. I always like to say this caveat when I'm about to share my entire screen, to say that I'm sharing my entire screen. Whatever it is you see on my screen, please just take it, just take it easy with me. As much as possible, you wouldn't see anything incriminating. However, I still have to tell you about it. Right. Okay. So we'll talk about Power BI now, and so, as a usual ritual, this is what Techlytics is. Techlytics is a technology, workforce development, and consulting company. I believe it's very important to always reiterate this. Because not everybody on the call would know what Techlytics is about. As much as Techlytics is on the ed tech front, we are also on the consulting front. And if you visit our website today, that's why you will see two kinds of websites, where you can see edtech in the sense that, oh, we train people, and we also have the consulting side, where we're able to work on projects for clients. So you will see techlytics.africa and techlytics.ai. So on the other side of the consulting bit is where we're able to develop software projects for clients far and wide, near and far. So that is what makes it a technology, workforce development, and consulting organization. And we are dedicated to empowering ambitious professionals and businesses with essential skills, or with essentials to thrive in the ever-evolving world of technology. Right. So over the years, we've trained cumulatively a total of in excess of 3,000 of the fellows across various edtech institutions and corporate settings. And we have four pillars, or four things that we are particular about at this time: data analytics, product management, low code or no code development, and artificial intelligence. Right. So basically, that's the summary of what Techlytic does, and basically we're bridging the knowledge gap between now and the tomorrow that we all want to see. And so yes, this is our traction. Since we've launched, we've had fantastic traction. We have 805 subscribers. We have a lot of lecture completions on our LMS. We have 120 active students. We've also had the last data school that graduated in October, and we have a total of 282 subscribers on YouTube. This is me. I'm an ex-banker, and I also double as a product manager. In my last line of work, I was leading a product team before I eventually ventured into Techlytics fully. And these are the fantastic people who are leading the front at Techlytics also in terms of product managers, data analysts, and the graphics designers. So that is Abiodun, Jedida, Mary, and Adenike. We also have Adeshewa. Adeshewa is on this call, but she's not on the slides. I do not know why, but we would make sure to update that. Right. So what these master classes, it's also in preparation for our data school, the second cohort that is coming up in January 2024. It aims to train professionals about on Microsoft Excel and Power BI, and basically we see a lot of transitioning into the data field, whether we like it or not. The future is here in terms of there's this rave about artificial intelligence, and of course we all know that the bedrock of anything artificially intelligence is data. So yes, we're building the building blocks. We're getting the building blocks ready. So we're opening another cohort next year, January, starting by January 20th, and we'll be having Microsoft Excel and Power BI. So you're thinking of becoming a business intelligence analyst next year. Now is a good time to key into it. This is one of our taster sessions. So now is a good time to key into becoming one, or now is a good time to enrolling in data school so that you're well equipped. It's for 8 weekends and it's an intensive learning program. You would have experts to teach you, and you'll also obtain a CPD certification at the end of the program. Right. So I don't take all of our time. So let's talk about what you want to learn today. Mic check. Adenike, are you here? Adenike, if you're here, say hello. Let me know if you're here before I go ahead. Okay.
I am here, Tayo.
You're here. All right. Is this a place where I hand this over to you?
All right.
All right. Thank you. Please.
Yes, I do. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. We hear you.
So, I'll be sharing my screen. All right. Thank you. I'll be sharing my screen right now. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
I can see your screen.
All right. Thank you. So just like Taya have said, this is just an introductory to Power BI interface and some basic features of Power BI. So this is just a master class to let us familiarize ourselves with the Power BI environment, teach ourselves how to download the Power BI desktop and on our system, and to know some basic things about Power BI. This is just the first of the taster section that we are going to be having on Power BI. So subsequently, there are still going to be other sections where you can still learn more about Power BI. So please look out for our mails, our invites to join those sections, and I promise you are going to be learning a lot. So in this section, just as I've said, We'll be looking at the Power BI interface, what Power BI is all about, and the rest. So I'll be using this slide, and at the same time, I'll be using the Power BI desktop to navigate this section. So
Hi,
let's look
Adenike.
at, yes,
Sorry,
please.
I was raising my hand. You did not see it. I
Oh,
figured.
okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
Is it okay now?
yeah. I was just raising my hand. I wanted to ask a question. Give me 1 minute.
Okay.
Hello, Adenike. We cannot hear you. Okay, she's back.
Okay, sorry. Thank you very much. Sorry about the short break. So, so we'll start with the introduction to the Power BI interface and basic features. And the person that will be walking us through this section is no other person than Oluwatobi Shoyinka, who is a senior BI analyst. So it will be taking us through the section while I would be sharing the screen from my side. So thank you very much. And the next voice you'll be hearing now it will be that of Toby. Hi, Toby.
Hi, Adenike. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
I was actually enjoying your introduction, so I was just I was just
You
sitting back,
know, you know
hoping
when you have your master in the room,
hoping to learn from you.
so
Actually,
I'm sure people will now enjoy your own better than mine. So it's
no,
good to have you on the call.
no, you don't. You never can be sure. Now, I was enjoying your own, so it was a lot of sense. Okay, thank you very much, Adenike, and good evening to everybody. My name is Toby, and yeah, I'm a BI analyst, and I think for me, I think Power BI is one of the amazing tools for BI, basically for business intelligence. Can you all hear me? Sorry, if I'm not speaking to myself.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, Tayo. So yeah, so Power BI is an amazing tool for BI, basically, and it's widely used. It's one of the tools from Microsoft Office, basically, and it has its own pros and it has its own cons too. Just like every other tool, basically. I think one of the pro is the fact that it's from Microsoft and it's integrated to all Microsoft other Microsoft suites, other Microsoft tools actually. But I feel the con is basically the fact that I can't use it on the Mac, which is something I hope they get to work on, and I think it's actually not good enough. So for us, Adenike, can you please share? I don't think you're sharing your screen. So everyone, so today's session is just like what Tayo said, it's just a teaser to the full training we plan to have in January. And it's going to be very interactive. And if you have questions or anything, you can raise your hand or you can just stop me and let me know. It's just going to be a brief introduction to the world of Power BI. For me, I feel like Power BI does not need much definition. It actually denotes its name, basically. I feel like there's a lot of power. It brings power to BI itself because you can do a lot of things. Unlike your Excel, Power BI is just more like an advanced Excel, basically. So it gives you access to create more visualizations and also give you access to do a lot of deep dive and also create a lot of insights. So you can be able to build your data stories from Power BI itself, from the tool itself. So it's an amazing tool and it's updated almost every time and new visualizations are being added to it. So it's very easy. It's more like just like the low code or the no code tools. Basically just drag and drop and but in as much as it's drag and drop, you have to be very careful of the visuals you use when you're dragging and you're dropping so that it can be able to so that your stakeholders can be able to understand what you're trying to explain in your data story. So I think we'll begin with the whole downloading installation of Power BI itself. So you can download it, just type Power BI download, and you can easily download the tool online. Like I said, is only on Windows currently. It's not on Mac. So if you are using Mac, you'll not be able to have access to it except to partition your Mac to have the old Windows size and the old Mac size. So I'm saying apart from that, there's no way you can do that. So I think the environment, maybe you can go to the environment. I didn't care. Can we have a visualization of the environment? Okay, thank you very much, Adenike. So this is the environment. These are the environment basically look like. So I'll take you to the three. I always say that there are three basic layers. If you look at the left corner, under there are three basic layers. We have the visualization section, we have the data modeling section, and we have the Power Query section. So all the three section actually has their own function basically. The visualization section, which is what you are currently seeing now, is actually the default section. Is where you do the old drag and drop and things like that. So the data modeling, the Power Query section is when once you import your data into the tool, then you can do some transformation, some extraction for some customization on that Power Query section based on what you want. Because I always say the truth about any analysis is basically trying to structure your data. Once your data is structured properly, it's easy for you to analyze whatever thing you want to analyze. But if your data is not structured properly, it will be very difficult for you to create manipulations, for you to create some formulas, for you to create DAX. I'll be using some terminologies actually. DAX is actually data analysis expression. So yeah, so you do all these things on Power Query. And the last section, which is the data modeling section, is where you get to connect relationships. So it can be a one-on-one, a one to many, a many to one, or many to many relationships based on what you want. So the first one is the visualization, like I said, which is what we have. The next one is the Power Query. You can only access Power Query once once you've imported data into the environment. Then you can go to Power Query and do whatever things you want to do on Power Query. And the last one, like I said, is basically data modeling, which involves creating relationships among each of the tables that you have on Power BI. So the first section, sorry, I'm gonna be squinting my eyes a bit. Yeah, so the first section is the home, and you have the first thing you have under the home tab is get data. I don't know if Alan, can you just click on get data? Yes. So if you click on get data, we can see different sources that you can actually get your data from. So you can get your data from different sources. So you can connect to your Excel. You can connect to Excel like we have. You can connect to a CSV file. You can connect directly to a database, different database, either SQL or different database that you have. So you have different ones, like you can see. We have the Excel worksheet. We have the Power BI data set, because a Power BI also has its own data set. So we have different data set that you can connect to. Um, I don't know if I think Nika has a sample data that we can work with. Do you have any sample data in your system? Sorry.
Okay, I have one from Microsoft, the financial data, if that is fine.
Yeah, you can just import it. It's just for us to
All
import
right.
data. Is that a CSV file or an Excel file?
An Excel file.
Okay, so we can go to get data Excel. So yeah, so once, just like what Adenika is doing, so once you click on the get Excel, it takes you to where, to an environment, to your hard disk environment. So you probably go to where you have your data saved, and you can get to import your data from there. So yeah. So it goes here. So the reason why we are having this navigation section or navigator section is basically because it's a Microsoft Excel. I know that Microsoft Excel has different sheets. So you have sheet one, sheet two, sheet three, sheet four, depending on what your file looks like. So it basically gives you an idea of, okay, fine. So this option tells you what sheet basically are you trying to import. Are you trying to import all the sheets, or you are trying to import just one sheet from the file, from the Excel file that you have? So that's why you have the second layer that gives you the option to select the sheet you want to pick in, you want to bring in, you want to import into the Power BI environment. So I didn't get. Yes. Are you just importing one sheet, or let's just import one basically? I think it's just this sample. Is one fine?
Yeah.
Uh yeah, I think we can import this. So we go to this, then you go to load. Once you click on the sheet, then you go to load. As you can see, we have load, yeah. So yes, so we have our first data set in the environment already. So this data set is already in the environment. So you can see the file under the data, the environment under the data. So you can see the file under the data, and you can also collapse it. So if you collapse it, then you can have an idea of what the columns are, or what kind of field do you have there. So this basically is a visualization environment. Initially I mentioned that we have a section called the Power Query. So the Power Query gives an idea of what the table, or what the file you imported into the Power BI environment looks like. So we can go to the Power Query and see what our feeds look like. Adenike, can you please go to the Power Query section? So the Power Query section is the one in the middle, just on the no, not there. Yes, at the left. Scroll to the hand. No. Yeah, left. No, not there.
Trying
Just
to transform data.
okay. I just prefer to just go from here, but you can also go from transform data, basically. So yeah, so this is a Power Query editor. I mentioned earlier on, Power Query editor basically give you an overview of the fields that you have in the file that you actually imported. So you can see the kind of fields that we have here. Sorry, I have to. Yes, so you can see. So it tells you the segment. So the first field we have on this file is segments. We have country, we have products, and also you can see from the each of the section, you can see valid, error, and empty. So it gives you a percentage overview of the ones that has error and the ones that is valid. So you can see that each of the fields are 100% valid. So we can see segment, we can see country, we can see product, we can see discount band, we can see units sold. Units sold, I think, yeah, that's decimal. And I remember, each of the fields has its own data structure, has its own data type. So for each of data type, we have different data type. We have the string, we have the decimal, which is number, we have whole numbers and things like that. So the ABC tells us that this is a string. This is a string. And also, if you look at numbers, where we have numbers like the unit sold, you can see that it's in decimal. So you can also change it to whole number, exactly, just like what and then just like what Nika did. So you can change it to either decimal or whole number. So whole number means that you don't want any decimal there. You probably approximate it to the nearest whole number. And yeah, or fixed decimal number. If it's a currency, then it's in fixed decimal number. And also we have manufacturing price, which involves price. We have the sales price. We have the gross sales. So these are basically the things that we have in the file that we imported. So this basically explains to us what our files look like. So you can have an overview of your file, even if you don't know the files before. This is where you come to check that yes, I have my fields complete, like what I needed for my analysis are complete. So these basically are things that you have here. And also, like I said, in Power Query Editor, you can do a lot of things in Power Query Editor. You can add columns, you can create formulas, you can do a lot of things. I can decide to create a field that says calculate. If I want to know, probably I want to know, okay, I already have the gross sales. I want to say, okay, fine, I want to know maybe the cost price or different things, or probably I just want to know the net price or things like that. Depends on what I want to do. Basically, I can come here, I can create a new column, and I can create my formula and it automatically calculate. I can automatically use that formula to generate a new column, basically. So I can do anything I want to do, any manipulation I want to do on my data, I can basically do it on the Power Query Editor. So I don't need to do anything on visual. If I do anything on visualization, I can create whatever magic I want to create, whatever formula I want to create, whatever manipulation, whatever. If I want to work on any DAX formula, I can do everything on Power Query Editor before moving to the visualization section. So yeah, so I don't think we need to do anything on here. So we can go to the visualization section. So once you're done, yeah, so this is it. Once you're done, then you close and apply. Close and apply is that whatever you do on the Power Query Editor, it automatically saved. And you can automatically see the things you did in your visualization environment. So for the next one I'll talk about, the next one is the data modeling. If you click on the data modeling, yes, thank you. Yeah, model view. So this data modeling is where you do a lot of magics. This is where you do a lot of relationships. So if you want to join two tables together, if you want to create unique field, or probably you want to pick just like what you have. I don't know if you work on SQL. So if you want to do a lot of joins, or you want to pick a field from a table and you want to use it in a different table, so this is where you do it. So you create that relationship, either one-on-one, one to many, many to one, or many to many relationship. So here is where you do a lot of relationships, and this basically will be things that will be covered in our class actually in January. So these are the things that we plan to cover in our class in January. So you can do a lot of magic here also in terms of relationships. You can bring in 5 tables into your Power Query, into your Power BI environment, and you can link them together depending on what you want to achieve. I can decide to pick customer data or customer ID from a particular table, and I can link it with price or with transaction in a different table, and automatically you get your right number. So this is where these are the things you do on the model view. So these are basically what you do on the model view. So let's go to the visualization environment. Yeah, so thank you. So yeah, so basically this, like I said before, the home section basically tells you all the options you have on the home section. Basically tells you where the different data sources. So that's why you have data underneath it. So you can see that for all this section, you can see everything is under data. So you can pick different sources. So these are different sources: Excel, One Lake Data Hub, SQL Server, entire data, Dataverse, and recent sources. Recent sources talks about sources that you've picked recently. So instead of you going back to click on SQL or anything like that, you can just click on the recent sources and it takes you to your most recent sources, data sources, and transform data. That's where we move to the Power Query Editor. It tells you where you get to transform your data to what you want to basically what you want, and then and refresh. Refresh basically talks about, because we are using an Excel data. So Adenike can probably go to the Excel that we imported and probably make some changes. So she might probably change where we have Germany, she might change it to Canada. And instead of us going back and forth, we already made the changes. And instead of us going back to import that file again, I don't need to go back and import that file again. I just click on refresh, and whatever thing I have on that data, whatever update is made on that file, automatically reflects here once I click on the refresh button. So that is what the refresh does. And yeah, so we have new visuals. New visuals talk about if you have new visuals, you want to have new visuals to your visualization environment. So this is what we do. We have text boxes. Text box talks about if you want to write text on your environment, on your analysis, probably you want to write the name of the analysis, like customer data analysis or whatever analysis. So you use a text box to type whatever thing you want. You can also use it to type your data stories. So after everything, you want to say, okay, fine. So this is the gross price by country, or this is top five gross price by country. So these are the things you use your text box to do. And more visualization basically tells you different visualization that you have on this. We have a lot of visuals on Power BI, a lot. Like I said, it's a low code, so you just drag and drop. So it depends on the visual that you want to use. And we have new measure and we have quick measure. So the difference between a new measure and a quick measure, just like the name involves, quick measure is just the formula is there. So it's just a quick measure. So if I want to calculate the average price, I can just go to quick. Instead of me writing the formula, creating a new DAX to write the formula, quick measure already have it. So we have average, we have sum. I think those are the major things that we have on quick measure. Then new measure basically talks about me having to customize my formula myself. So I'm not doing average. I'm doing some business intelligence, and that's what business intelligence does. So you are creating a new logic for the business. So that's what basically. So you probably want to do some other things that you want. Probably want to do create some exceptional formulas on your own, and that they're not on quick measure. So you can just click on new measure and you probably write your formulas, and yeah, you're fine. And I think that's it. Then the publish is once you're done with your reporting, then you can publish it for other people to see. Once people that have access to Power BI or probably in an environment where there's Power BI, once you click on publish, everybody in that environment can get to have access to the report basically. So it's quite a lot of things. Like I said, Power BI it's a whole lot of things. You can use it for a whole lot of things. It's amazing the different stories, the different intelligence or insights you can create with this tool. It's amazing. Trust me, it's so amazing. I've used it and it gets updated every time. And it's so good because you can create your report and you can also bookmark it and you can create a link that once I click on, let's say I click on tire, it can just take me to everything about tire, take me to an environment that gives me everything about tire. It's just about logic, just about how you get to come up or probably create your own logic and your own formula that can display the report. So it's a whole lot of innovations. So for you to be good with it involves you thinking through and what do you intend to achieve. I think that's just major analytical questions. Whatever problems we have, it involves what do I need to achieve in this problem? What am I planning to solve in this problem? I think that's one critical question that every analyst needs to answer. So in this report, I just want to show top five. I want to show top five by country. I want to show top five by performance. I want to show top five based on certain things, based on regions and things like that. And it's a whole lot. We can see a lot of use cases that we've used Power BI for, and one of them is market penetration, basically. So it's not just reporting; it's creating insight actually that people, businesses can basically use to make decision on the go, and it's real time depending on the data set you collect to, it's real time. And one thing about Power BI is that it's so useful that even you can use it for data science because you can connect your Python to it, you can link your Python script to it, and you can do a whole lot of it on just one tool alone, a whole lot on just one tool, which makes it very, very interesting. And I think we can go to the next one. We can go to inserts. So let's go to insert. Is Nika there? Okay, thank you very much, Nika. So the insert section, the insert tab basically talks about, like I said, we have the new visuals, we have the more visuals, just like what we have on home. And under the insert, we have the Q&A. The Q&A means that. So what the Q&A does is that you are done with your visuals. So you already created the visuals. So that visuals, the Q&A is more like an AI tool that basically tells you likely questions and likely answers to those questions. So you have a top five by country. So the Q&A might probably come up once you click on the Q&A. So it basically gives you likely questions and answers. So you just question and answers tab. So instead of you trying to come up with all those things, so the Q&A does all those things for you. And also we have the key influencers. So these are basically, I feel for me, I always tell you that these are basically AI things. They are basically generated. So once I have my visuals, so once I click on key influencers, I can be able to point out all those things to you. So you can apply these things to your visuals. And this decomposition tree is also a visuals. So you can say, okay, fine, this composition tree. So let's say for Tayo, for instance, so I'm saying Tayo and I'm saying Tayo as the lead. Then I'm seeing Nike, um, some other people, Shalewa, and other people on that tile. So this basically gives you some other insight, basically. So this basically gives you, and again we have the smart narrative. So this basically, I always say this is basically the AI tools that just they were just added to Power BI, which is to just improve the environment basically. And then we have the paginated report, we have the Power Apps, and the Power Automated Preview. So the Power Apps basically talks about, for Power BI, we have it on apps too. So I can be able to see whatever I want to do on my phone. I can generate a report on my system and just publish it. And someone that has a app can be able to view the report on their phone, on the go. So I think those are the major things why Power BI is more interesting, basically. So for me, I feel like Power BI is amazing and it's actually very, very good. It's an amazing BI tool and it's so interesting that it's so user friendly. So you don't need to be too techy to understand Power BI. Once you understand the concept of what you want to achieve at the end of the day, then you can be able to use it anytime you want to use. You can be able to play around it because the more you play around Power BI, the more you're good at it. You get to bring out some things that even people that you thought that knew it, they probably never got to know about. So you just probably develop some few things on your own, and that's a lot of customization also. You can customize your visuals to what you want, basically. That actually suits into what you want. So I think that's one of the interesting things about it. And then we go to the modeling tab. So the modeling tab works with the data model that I explained earlier on. So it basically works with the data model where you can be able to do a lot of things on the data model section where you get able to create a lot of relationships and things like that. You can be able to create new parameters and also manage rules. Manage rules, this involves security. So for instance, I create a report uh, and I don't want Style to say it. I only want Nika to say it. Or I probably create a high level report and it's just meant for Tyre alone. And I don't want any other person to say it. I can manage roles. I can say, okay, fine, this report, this particular page is for Tyre alone to see, to view. I can put in Tayo as give Tayo the viewing right for that particular report or particular dashboard. And it's only Tayo that'll be able to see it. So we can be in the same ecosystem, we can be in the same company, and I can say, okay, fine, because I work directly with the CEO and I create a report, and the first level of it, everybody will see it, but the second level of it is only the CEO that will see it. So I can create the report for everybody to see, but the second level, then I can manage roles in the second level. Just give it to the CEO, give the view right to only the CEO to see. So it's only the CEO that be able to access that report. Or probably I'm creating a report for the regions. So you have different regions. You have Lagos. In Lagos alone, you might have probably four regions in Lagos. Probably you have region one, two, three, and four. And each of them has a regional manager. And I'm creating a report for everybody. But I want each regional manager to see only their report alone and nothing else. So with manage rules, I can create a report that only the regional manager in one will be able to see whatever transaction that is going on under his region. And the region manager in two, we also see whatever transaction is going on in his region. So with managed rules, I can do whatever thing I want. I can do whatever customization in terms of security under managed rules. I can only give region one the access to region one alone. It won't see region two. Region two, we only see region two alone. It won't see region three. So I can do all these things under managed rules and also viewers basically. It's also the same thing also. And yeah, we have the QA setup, like I said, and we have the language. So you don't want English, you want different language. Yeah, this is where you get to go. Um, Yeah, I think the next one will be the view. So the view, basically, you can see teams. So we have different teams basically. So this particular one is the default. So you can change your team. So you probably don't like this team. You can get to select different teams that you want. A lot of teams are there, so you can get to select whatever teams you want, and it changes. So once you have a visualization and you don't like the teams, you don't like the colors, you can get to select based on the colors that you want, and that's what you get to do here. And yeah, we have the page view. So the page view, just like every other Microsoft tool that has page views, just like Microsoft Word, Microsoft also has a page view. So the page view is like you creating, customizing your page to a particular view in terms of resolutions, basically. So okay, so you don't want it to be like this. You want it to fit to page. You want it to be the actual size. You want it to fit to the width and all those things. So you can do everything under the page view. And the next one will be the mobile layout. I mentioned earlier on that you can be able to access the reports on your phone once you have the Power BI app. So the mobile layout basically gives you how the mobile phone looks like. So you can be able to manage your report using the mobile layout. So it gives you a layout of the mobile phone. So whatever report you're doing, and you want the report to also be able to be viewed on phone. So make use of the mobile layout to be able to customize and make it look very precise on your mobile phone. So you don't need to start zooming your phone or probably try to zoom the pictures and things or the visuals to be able to see. So it gives you the precise things like that. And yeah, I think basically we have the snap to grid. Those are the grid lines. If you have your visuals, if you have your bar visuals, so you can see the grid and things like that. And yeah, filters, bookmarks. So all these things basically are things that we'll get to look at in the full training. I'll tell you the magic thing you can create on bookmarks. You can create a lot of links. I can just type tile on my visuals section, and once you click on tile, it takes you to a particular report that has everything on that tile. So I can do all this magic using the bookmarks basically. So I'll just bookmark the page and I'll create the links there. And once you click on tile, it automatically takes you to a page that has tile, everything on that tile, what tile has done, performance of tile so far in the year. I can do anything I want to do using the bookmark. So that's what the bookmarks does basically. And the selection also, the performance analyzer, synchronization to slicer. So you have a slicer and you want it to sync. So once I get to move the date, probably from January to February, it doesn't apply to just the report, just that page alone. It probably apply to every page. If that's what I want to do, I can do everything on this actually. So a lot of things that we are going to do. We are going to do on Power BI on the next class training. Um, so I think this is it. So I think the optimize is just basically you can click on the optimize actually. So the optimize is basically things that we've discussed earlier on. So you can refresh your visuals. So you have a visuals and you want to refresh it because you already refresh your data set. So you refresh your visuals and things like that. Performance analyzer, we discussed it. Apply our slicer button. These are things that we get to look at. And yeah, I think basically these are basic things that we get to look at once we start the full training. And then we'll be able to work on different case studies and get to work. Basically, it's going to be very interactive. So I'm not just going to be the one using the system. So we are going to look at it together. It's going to be very interactive and it's going to be very amazing also because we are going to get to do a lot of things, look at each of the visuals and see how best or which one best fit what we want to look at. So if you're looking at categorical data, categorical field, what is the best visuals to represent your categorical fields? So if you're looking at numbers, what are we trying to say with numbers? What if you see our file? What are the likely questions that we want to give out, that want people to see in terms of representing our data story? What are the insights we want to be able to see in terms of all these things that we have? And it'd be amazing what we can do even with maps. How you can be able to do your market penetration using maps, how you can get to synchronize latitude and longitude into your report, and it gives you a full overview of what you have in terms of map representation. How you can get to segment your market in terms of all these things. So these are the basic things that are being used by marketers or probably by sales team to be able to drive sales. And you'll be interested in what insights you can be able to get from it. So it's not just reporting. We are not just reporting. We don't just in BI we don't just create reports. Report is I don't for me I just feel like report is just there. Report that is not giving us any insight is just a mere report. Anybody can create a report. I always say, but the truth is, in BI, you have to be able to translate. You have to be able to translate your report into insight, basically, because whatever thing we're working with insight. So you have to be able to try and connect the parts together. So if I'm saying this, how does the increase in this? How does it affect this? So there should be a connection, either a direct contribution or an indirect contribution. So there should be something that should say, okay, fine, if this increase, this should also increase. So these are the things that we get to look at in our next class, and I'll be happy to have everybody on board then, so that we can get to look at it together and we can get to learn together from it. Like I said, it's an amazing journey, and I'm so happy to be on board. Thank you very much. I don't know if anybody has a question. Ready to answer all your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Toby. Thank you. That was very, very insightful. Thank you. So please, we'll be taking questions. If you have any question you would like to ask, please let us know, and Toby will be here to answer your questions. Do we have any question? So, Taya, do you have anything you would like to add while we wait for people that would like to have questions, that would like to ask questions?
Oh, nothing from me. I enjoyed the session myself.
Yeah, same here.
Hello.
Okay, so someone is okay. Okay, Adekindiji, please, let's have you.
Okay, yeah, he said something about Python. I don't know how does Python. I don't know how does it come into. I think he mentioned something about Python that you can fit in Python somewhere. How does
Okay,
Python concern what? I don't know. I don't know how it comes in. So I just want him to clarify that. Thanks.
all right, Toby.
Yes, thanks very much for that question. So for Power BI, for Python, basically, you can do a lot of things on Python too, but there are certain visualizations that you can't really do on Python. So there's a way you can connect Python to Power BI. Yeah, I remember when I worked on data, when I worked on sentiment analysis, I scraped my data, I did all my scraping and everything on Python, and I just brought in my full data directly. I just connected it directly to Power BI. So there's a way I can connect my Python to Power BI basically. I don't know if I answered that question. Sorry.
Yes, yes, thank you.
All right. All right.
All right. So Rafiat is saying that we newbies don't really understand this topic due to the fact that it's strange to us. So Toby, would you like to answer that? She said the topic is strange to her.
What topic exactly? Is it Power BI?
Okay, Rafiat. So if you can unmute yourself and express yourself, would really appreciate that.
I will appreciate that too.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Can
Good
you
evening.
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you,
Can
Ofia.
you hear me? Yes, what happened is that I'm a newbie on this thing. I'm just learning myself. But this Power BI, everything I'm doing is like a magic to me. I don't understand anything. From the beginning to the end, I don't really understand. How can
Yeah,
we know more about all this?
I think that's why the training session holds, so that newbies can easily connect to it and we can be able to stay abreast and can be able to understand it. I don't know if Tayo has one or two things to say about it. Yeah, Tayo.
Oh, I didn't unmute. Hi, Rafiat. Good evening. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, I can
Okay.
hear you.
All right. So, Rafia, let me just create a good picture for you. There's there's this word that says there's always a beginning to something. For you to be here, it's key indication that you have a desire, you're enthusiastic, and I really admire that courage. At one point or the other, we all took interest in something and we started growing from there. So I said Python. So Power BI, like the name implies, it's power. Then the BI behind it is business intelligence. So I want to believe that before now, you probably have worked with data. By data now, you probably have worked with numbers, even if it is sales data, or you probably work with text data, or maybe you've thrown out a survey and people give you responses, and whether it's a yes or a no, it could be figures, it could be text, it could be picture, anything, data generally. So Power BI, think of it as that guy that you can load those data into, and it can create insights for it can give you fantastic visualization to help you see insights beyond what you would have seen with your naked eyes. So basically, that is what Power BI is about. So, and you like Toby rightly said, there's also some form of augmented analytics or real-time analytics that also been infused into Power BI. What I mean by that is that there's some form of artificial intelligence gone into it where you can just even load your data and you can tell Power BI to tell you what do you see in this data. So if it can find a trend, it will tell you, I see XYZ. I see XYZ. I see that the top selling cities is Lagos, or the top selling or the bottom selling cities, or we think you should do. So it can basically give you insight into whatsoever the element. It can basically help you get insight into what is in your data set, while you as the human being can use your human intelligence to make business decision or decisions generally. So basically that is what Power BI is about. Of course, you've learned about Microsoft Excel. Maybe the Excel is the simplest BI tool you would ever see so far. So think of Microsoft Power BI as a step further from Excel, because power, from the word power, it's a lot more powerful in its visualization capabilities, much more than Microsoft Excel. Did that help in any way, Rafiat? Rafiat, did that help? Okay.
Yes, ma, I
So
really am. I really understand.
all right, thank you. So you can just be kind to yourself, extend grace to yourself, one after the other. You would get it. So we'll still have maybe like two other sessions next year, because this is like the last one we'll have for the year. 30th December has started. So me myself, I want to do 30th December. So this is like the last free masterclass or taster session we'll have for the year. We'll start again next year before the class starts in January 20th. But we want to believe that you have enough ample time to make a decision about, oh, are you joining Techlytics Data School next year by January 20th? Right. So that's I hope I've been able to answer your question. And thank you for that beautiful question, Duro. Durojai, sorry, Akindiji. I don't know why it's your last name that registered in my head. That I registered in my head. I just wanted to put more light into it, because when I was transitioning from sales, Akindiji, this is the personal story. When I was transitioning from sales I wanted to become a full-blown data analyst, right? So one of the things I had done at that time was I'd learned Microsoft Excel, I'd learned Power BI, but I wasn't exactly sure of, at that time, there was no, COVID hadn't happened, and online learning had not fully blown like this, right? So I didn't even understand what I should focus on. I was just learning everything up and down, because, well, frustration led me to that, right? So at the time, I learned Power BI and it was fantastic. So Python came into the story when I wasn't sure. I wasn't like, shall let me go and learn it. Maybe I'll need it. But eventually I didn't need it. Again, that is my own career path. Other people want to become data scientists. Other people want to become researchers, and they would probably need to learn Python full blown, because by the time I resumed my first job as a data scientist, it was at the bank. Toby and I worked at the bank, by the way. It was at the bank, but when I got in, I realized that there was another team that were given, the access to use Python and all of that. So I really didn't need it. So I was cool with sitting with Power BI and Microsoft Excel, and I was doing my daily tasks. So I think the other question you want to ask yourself is, where do you want to start from in your journey to becoming a data analyst? Where do you want to start from? If you want to become a data scientist, of course, I would encourage you to go full blown Python, right? So it also depends on your personal preference or what you have defined as your own career path and how you want to pursue it. If Python it is, Python it is. Today, Python is in Excel, right? Python is in Power BI. So it depends on the extent to which you want to, use the functionalities of each of these things. Because a lot of people will throw jargons around and say, hey, I use Python, hey, I use R, I use Tableau. Tableau is a fantastic tool, by the way. Oh, I use SQL, I use all of this. But again, what's it called now? What's the crux of it? What's the core thing that you want to pull out? You want to be able to make life better. You want to be able to make greater business decisions. So you can choose or decide a tool that works or that suits your own career path best. I hope I've been able to attempt those two questions. If we have any other questions, I'll be happy to take them. Toby is also still on the call. We'll be happy to take them. And Adenike has dropped some link. Adenike and Abiodun rather have dropped some link in the chat room. Abiodun dropped the community. We have a Techlytics community that we're building. It's on WhatsApp for now, so you can get latest updates and deals. We also share tech events and internship opportunities that come out. We will also share it on that group, so you can click on the link there and you can join. The link to register for Data School is also in the chat room, and also the link to download Power BI Desktop is also in the chat room. So if there are any other questions, we'll be happy to take them. We've spent an hour, 2 minutes on this call, and we'll be close to wrapping it up. I will give the mic back to Adenike to do that. So if there are any other questions, we'll be happy to answer. So Adenike, back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Tayo. Thank you for that wonderful clarification. So I want to ask if anyone still have a question to ask so that we can take that before we wrap it up. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us on today's masterclass. So as Tayo has rightly said, this is going to be our last masterclass for the year. Okay, someone is asking, what is CPD, please? So Tayo, back to you. I would want you to take that.
Oluwatayo. Excuse me. Oluwatayo, hi. Can you unmute your mic? Oluwatayo, are you able to unmute your mic, or you'd like me to just continue?
Hi, Tayo.
Hi. Okay. All right. So let me. Okay, maybe you should mute your mic. All right. So CPD, it's an abbreviation for continuing professional development. Basically, what that means is that in some organizations or in some schools, when you want to take some in some organizations, they basically it serves as a criterion before a promotion can be awarded to you. So the organization can come up with, if push comes to shove, they are like trying to assess, okay, candidate A, candidate B, what to promote just one person. Who's the person we promote? Who's the person we do not promote, right? So there are some organizations that up you that are able to make judgment, or they're able to make a fair and objective judgment from in this kind of scenario, and wanting to understand that, okay, what professional certifications have you done in the last 1 year? How many CPD hours, that is continuing professional development hours, have you sat for in the last 6 months, in the last 1 year? And those credits are transferable. Those credits are are recognized. This particular CPD we talk about is issued by a body in the UK. So these particular hours of credits are transferable, or they are basically easily recognized in organizations like this to say, okay, truly this person has committed man hours to learning and improving themselves. So they deserve, recognize that, we recognize that effort. So they deserve this reward. In some other institutions that we have seen situations in some other institutions, you want to pursue a postgraduate degree or you want to pursue a certification course, and you're like, oh, you've taken a data analytics course, and it's in the organization that gave you, that you've trained from, is CPD certified, and you can boast of 10 man hours for this particular course. That hours of credit is transferred to say, oh, instead of you taking this intermediate or these beginner courses XYZ, we will what's the word now? You wouldn't start from the beginning, because you already have some credits carried over from here. So yes, that's the simplest explanation about CPD. Did that help?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, thank you, Oluwatobi. Any other questions?
All right. So thank you everyone for joining us. So please try to click on the Techlytics Data School website so you can see what we have installed for you, and probably that would guide you in making a decision. And please look forward for our mails for other taster sections that we'll be having early next year. Thank you very much for joining us. You'll also be receiving the replay of this masterclass in case you would like to go through it again. Also, please do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a lot of goodies there, our past webinars, our past masterclasses, and some of our pre-recorded videos where you can also learn. So thank you very much for joining us, and please do enjoy the rest of your week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.